Hey, what's going on? My name is Melvin Marroquin. I'm the host of Kicking It with Mel, where everybody has a story to tell. So today's going to be a little different. As you can tell, I'm not on camera today. I'm going to try a little Vlad TV style. Today I have two special guests. And as you can tell, today's scenery is a little different. I'm recording this actually from my house. And like I said, today I have two special guests. These guys are my friends. Been knowing them for a couple years. And when I started this Kicking It with Mel podcast, I didn't really just want to focus on up-and-coming artists. I also wanted to focus on individuals who have great stories to tell, or just, crazy story, about life. And maybe you guys watching could learn something from them, which I hope you guys do. They're kind of clowns though, so I don't know how much you guys are really going to learn from them.
Not for today. We'll tone it down.
Yeah. So let me introduce you to them. To my right-hand side, I have Ivan. Say what up, Ivan.
How's it going, Ivan?
To my left-hand side, I have Oscar. What up, Oscar? Say what up.
What's up, guys? My name's Oscar.
So what we're going to do today is we're going to talk about, their life, a little bit what, they've been doing, what they're up to, what they work in. That's the main topic today is the pros and cons of the car business. These guys have years and years of experience in the car business. And if you're somebody out there that's interested in becoming a car salesman, or you have any interest in the car business, I think you should really stay tuned and watch this video to entirely, because they are going to go over some really dope information. So with that being said, let's get started. So first off, let's go with you guys. I'm gonna ask you guys, both of you guys could answer. How long have you been in the car business, Ivan?
So I want to just clarify that I actually, you got to get two perspectives here. One person that's still currently in the car business. I have 10 years, right around 10 years experience, mostly as a sales representative. And then lastly, for maybe the course of a year as a manager. But, you'll get to hear about how he remained with it. I chose to leave and hence the pros and cons of it. Actually, where I met Melvin, myself, I started there when I was 19 years of age. I wanted to kind of see if I can make a dent in the industry the same way that my brother did. I kind of one of the main reasons why I started to begin with, and always felt that that's where I would ultimately end up. And things didn't turn out that way, but that's what we're gonna get down to later.
Okay. What about you, Oscar? How long have you been in the car business?
I've been in the car business for 6 years, but I started off kind of different. I started off from the bottom of the totem pole, that they call it, as a greeter, as a porter, as a salesperson, and then currently as a finance manager. Same way this time I met Ivan. He met me when I was 18 years old, and then through Ivan, I met Melvin, of course. And I'll tell you guys how I went from one position to another, and what I plan on doing later on in this business as well.
Awesome. So Ivan, let's start with you real quick. So you started in the car business 19 years old, right?
19 years of age, currently 30 years old now.
Okay. And what would you say led you to the car business?
Well, like I was saying earlier, it was just I wanted to, in a sense, follow in the footsteps of my brother. I saw how well he did for himself. Some of the friends that he had at the time, all relatively young. Some of them even in their teens, and it always seemed fitting for what I wanted to do, because I could never truly identify what I wanted to do with school or college or any kind of course like that. And it just seemed like the surefire way to jump into something. And as long as you can get good at and perfect it, start being able to really see that payoff in terms of what you earn, in terms of how you're paid. So yeah, I started solely because of my brother.
Okay, so you would say you saw him doing financially well. Is that what you meant?
Correct.
And that just
ultimately just what drew me to the car business altogether.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about you, Oscar? What drew you?
My story is kind of funny. I didn't have any relatives in the car business, to be honest. I didn't even know that industry existed. I was straight out of high school. I was home one day. I was watching TV with my dad, and a Honda commercial came on. The commercial they had, come on down Honda downtown LA. So, and I've always wanted a car. And my dad said, "Hey, let's go to Honda. Check it out." The same day, right after the commercial, we went. We went to Honda. I walked in. I didn't know anything. I walked in. I walked in the showroom. I remember seeing Ivan right there, standing right in where the cars were at.
And who greeted you?
Norma.
Shout out to Norma.
Yeah, Norma. Norma greeted me, and I was really shy that time. I'm not how I am now. I was really quiet, and me and Norma were talking, and then she went through the process, what they call the sales process. I remember she showed me the car. I test drove the car, came back inside. Obviously, I didn't qualify. I was just a kid. I have a job. I didn't have anything. And then Johnny Alvarez came. He was a sales manager at the time. Same thing. Shout out to Johnny Alvarez for everything. He came. He started talking to my dad, and as me as well, just about what he wanted to do as far as like getting me approved on the loan, what I had to do, and then the topic of are you currently working? He asked me, are you currently working? I said, no, I'm not working. He said, would you like to work here? And then it just blew, like, it surprised me. Like I didn't know what I was gonna do there.
Came for a car and left with the job.
Yeah. And then he said, trust me, look, come work here, and then this place will change your life. And then I just went for it, and then Norma helped me out do the.
So far, it's been true.
So far, it's been true. Yeah, I did the job application online. I was in shorts and just a t-shirt, in sandals, and it changed my life. That's how I led into it.
That's interesting. You go for a car, and like you said, you go
left with a career.
Exactly, and that's pretty interesting because a lot of people think car salesman. There's a certain stereotype to car salesman, right?
There's a stigma to it, yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of people have really a bad image when it comes to car salesmen.
Yeah,
and it's unfortunate, but
it's for a reason. A lot of it is true.
Okay, so I guess this is where we can, get into like some of those pros and cons. I know. Let's start off with Ivan. I know you've been in the car business for really, really long, so you have definitely have had plenty of experience, and you've seen a lot throughout those 10 years plus you've been in the car business. Mm-hmm. Let's start off with the pros. What would you say are some? Let's start off like one by one, and then we could get more into detail. What would you say is like a pro from the car business that you really enjoy?
Well, something that I really enjoyed was just sharpening skills as far as sales go. You start to recognize that you as a person, you do have the ability to say certain things in a certain manner that can influence somebody to do something that they might not had intended to do that particular day at that particular moment. And that's ultimately the part that pays, right? To where you can actually, kind of let a customer in this case know what they would be missing out on, or what would change to the positive effect if they were to, in fact, close a deal with you. Another positive is just within one dealership, you meet just tons and just loads and loads of people. How many people would you say work at, just for example's sake, at the LA store that we worked at? And I'm talking from service to sales to parts. What would you say?
100 people.
I would go a little more. I think it's right under 200. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he's closer. But you run into a lot of people, and I always found that as a huge plus. Some folks will help you. Some folks will become you become really good friends with for life. Some folks will lead you down different avenues if it just so happens that that's no longer the route you wanna go down, right?
Yeah.
That's my pros, I would say.
What about you, Oscar? You haven't been really in the car business way too long, but I mean, I'm sure you've experienced some pros. What would you say is your pro?
I think I had two pros. One, when I was younger, when I first started when I was 18, it introduced me to a whole different world that I didn't know existed. And now that I'm older, now that I'm 25, it introduced me to a financial world that it leads you to freedom. That it puts you in a good financial position that you don't need to worry about need to worry about anything anymore. So you meet a lot of people, you meet a lot of good customers, and even customers that will help you down the line. Like I met police officers, I met my barber I sold him a car. That's how he started cutting my hair. You know, you meet police officers, you meet a lot of business people that you build a relationship with. So it introduced you to discipline too. You know, I was young. It really straightened me forward to be a better person.
That's interesting. You said that because you know I've had my short stints in the car business as well, and you could definitely say that you do come across plenty of good people and bad people in the business, the people you make lifelong relationships with, you know, friendly wise, or sometimes I even takes it to a whole different step with these customers, which I'm not gonna get into because that's none of my business.
That is a whole nother episode.
That's another life. But yeah, the car business is definitely a good career for somebody that's fresh out of high school that doesn't really have a path, right, or an idea of what they want to do. They could definitely
they can cement themselves there, and you know, in some people's cases it'll turn out a lot better than if they had done anything else from a young start. And we left out a huge plus. Let's not forget the main reason why we're there is the potential of pay.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd have to say, this may have been the first things that came to my mind, but the potential the earning potential that you can have as a salesperson in the car business. And of course the market changes, there's dips. Maybe people that are hearing this that were in the car business a few years ago, especially as a hot market as it is right now, the earning potential is
really high.
Significant.
Yeah.
It is. I know this is not about me. I'm just gonna throw something in there. But you know, like during the summer of 2021, I moved out to Vegas to, you know, my friend was out there selling cars, and he told me, hey, come down here, and I followed him, and I have to say that, you know, during this time that we're living through, it's crazy. You know, there's a shortage of supply, and that involves in the car business as well. And I have to say, those 2.5 months I was out there, I had a great financial time. 2.5 months, I had a great time. I could upload just a picture of, like, I'll show you guys right now the how much I made from selling the last car before I came back to LA.
And it could boil down to just
sometimes it could boil down to a couple $100. And sometimes when you have, you know, you have a good deal, it could couple $1,000
on one unit,
on one car, just in one car. This is the last car I sold before I came back to LA. I had to come back to LA, so I'll upload an image of it when I can. I'll show you guys. I just gotta find it real quick. Sorry, you guys.
Not a problem.
Too long.
But
here it is.
But nonetheless, you were happy with what
I was happy. They were calling me Mr. Pounder. You guys know the definition of that.
So we should define it for.
Here, you could define it. What does that mean?
Pounder is pretty much something that's really good at gross, that makes high gross on a deal, that knows how to make money on a deal.
Okay, yeah, because people don't know what gross is.
Gross profit.
Yeah, gross profit.
Yeah.
Okay, so here, this is the image. This is how much I made on the last car before I came back to LA. Just on one unit.
Well, here you can read the screen. Oh, it's right there. It's right on the
calculator. Yeah.
That's good.
And then you left in a hurry.
I left. I came back and I had to go. That's the money I spent to Disney World. A few weeks later, I went to Disney World with my daughter and my fiance.
You see the harm it could do too. The potential harm it could do.
Yeah. And that was just on one unit.
Yeah.
Imagine. Yeah. I was selling 10 units. 10 units with that amount. That is definitely life changing.
Yeah, it's life changing, and then sometimes for the better, sometimes for the worse, because you can put all that behind you and forget about whatever trajectory you're on, whatever momentum you had. It can all come to an end when you get comfortable, right?
Exactly, and that happens a lot, right?
It happens all the damn time. Yeah,
you see people get burned out.
That's what happened to me.
Yeah,
that's what happened to me.
Is that would you say some cons? I guess we get some cons, if
you want to ask about the cons, there's plenty of those, because I'm one that left the car business, and I wish I had the mental fortitude to continue, like Oscar, like one of our friends and coworkers that worked with us, Marlon. He's 25 years of age.
So what would you say? I've dealt with this in the past, but a lot of customers get mad thinking that you don't want to make a deal with them, thinking that it's your fault. Like, no, you're not helping me out. What would you say are some of the issues that, as somebody buying a car doesn't really know what's really happening behind the curtains,
Sure.
What would you say to them?
Well, first and foremost, the customer might be right in the sense that maybe their salesperson doesn't know how to convey the fact that they actually are trying to help them get a deal. If a customer asks for something and a salesperson doesn't look like they have the enthusiasm to match what the client's asking for, or if it somehow comes off in any way, shape, or form that the salesman's just looking out for their best interest, then of course naturally the customer will then feel that way as well. But just to, just from our lens, the lens we're looking at it through from our perspective, there's just so many things that can go sour, that can go left with the deal. And I'll touch on a little bit from your sales representative that you're speaking to face, and I'll talk a little bit from the manager's perspective that's behind the curtain, like you were saying, Melvin. But if we're starting with the sales representative, you might ask, you might need them to do to further better your monthly installments. You might need them to further better your interest rate. You might need them to further better the overall price that you ultimately going to pay for this vehicle. And the first thing you need to know is that everything is the exact opposite when it comes to management. Why? Because you need to protect the best interest of the store. And that ultimately just boils down to gross profit. Sometimes customers don't understand that there is a limit. I don't know if you want to talk a little bit about this since you're in the office, writing the paperwork right when it all happens.
Yeah, like what I was saying about like the gross profit. I mean, it depends on the store too. Some stores, there's like a limit to how much money they could lose. Usually smaller stores, obviously there's smaller stores, so they try not to lose that much money. Obviously bigger stores like the Norton Reeves Group and all that, they could take any deal any day because they sell thousands of cars a month. So like what I would say is the best interest is to put the store first always. And as far as the financing too, some people have bad credit. Having bad credit is expensive, and it turns the deal south. One minute the customer's happy, like they're picking up the car, and then we submit you to the lenders, and then you decline. And people don't understand that. Like people think that they could go to any other store and just get. It's really hard to get people approved, especially through Honda. We work for Honda, so we try to put everybody through Honda. Honda doesn't really do bad credit. I know there's a lot of other lenders like Nissan Financial, that Kia Financial that pick up people with challenge credit and all that. And we also, it depends on the store too. Like I feel like in our store we try to do what's best for the customer. A lot of the big stores would put you in any other car and just here's the keys, see you later, bye. We try to build like a long-term relationship with customers. That way they could come back to us knowing that we're a smaller store.
And that we treated them right?
Yeah, that we treated them right. I think, and I understand the customer's point of view too. When I was a customer, like the way I was attended was good, and Norma answered all my questions. She showed me the car, and I understand the point of view. Like they say, treat like how I would want to be treated at a dealership. That's how we should treat every customer.
Just the way you would treat your family.
Yeah, it's the way you treat your family. So it's all like a big domino effect. You got to do everything right from the start. That way everything can finish good from the start. But then there are surprises where they get decline or no approval, nothing like that.
And then that could be frustrating for, let's say, a salesman, right? Because you just spent X amount of time with this customer.
Yeah.
You get them all excited. You take them to the lot, show them a car. They're excited. Go on a test drive. They come back. Hey, how'd you like the car? Oh, I love it. I'm ready to take it. And then you get down to the paperwork just to find out that, hey, unfortunately, your credit is not up to par per se for the store.
Whatever they were expecting.
Whatever they were expecting, right? It's like...
And then that's where you have to learn human psychology, because what we hear, what comes into our ears isn't what's happening, isn't what's factual. What comes into our ears is however they understood what we're trying to convey. It's only an excuse to no longer be in this transaction. So maybe, we have to break the news to a customer. Hey, because your credit is X, Y, and Z, this is the interest rate that will be applied to you. Instead of this one, rather than the customer letting us know, well, hey, this is what I wanted. Sometimes it does happen, but rather than the customer letting us know that, they might hit us with, oh, well, actually, I have to go pick up my kid. I actually,
Late to work.
I only came to see today. I only came to look at numbers. Even though, 10 minutes ago, they were clearly expressing interest in taking the vehicle and parking it in their driveway today. It's all things that we have to figure out as staff and managers and salespeople, that when the customer says these certain things, it's only to let us know that they're no longer comfortable with what the terms are. So then we have to regain their trust into at least letting us know what is it that you actually want us to do for you. That's and then, like you were saying, for the salesperson, yeah, of course, that is very frustrating, because it's not just 1 hour. That would be one thing if it was like sometimes it could go as long as 3 to 4 hours. Finally get to the meat and potatoes of the deal, they call it, and that's when you find out that it was really all for nothing, at least for that day. But ultimately, you just want to treat everybody with the utmost respect, and they'll get a feel for who you are as a person, and hopefully come and do business with you at a later time.
Exactly. It's like you really have to coach them through the process, right? That's what it pretty much is sometimes.
Yeah,
most of the time.
We wear a lot of hats. We wear the information center hat. We influence. Sometimes we gotta. I don't want to say, sometimes we might have to justify, once they express to us wherever they stand financially, we might have to justify why what they're doing is correct. But ultimately, they did come to us, and ultimately everybody comes here for one thing, and that's to buy a car. So you're still making a purchase. It's still a transaction. And we do the best that we can, at least we did the best that we can, right?
Yeah.
Can't speak for everybody out there in the industry. That kind of goes back to why some people might not have the best experiences, But we always did the best that we can. We work for really good stores.
It's funny you said that you wear a lot of hats as a salesman, because you technically do. You said you definitely have to learn human psychology and really sit down and listen to them, right? But you also play a role as a counselor, correct? Because you have to sit. Sometimes people just open and vent to you, right? Would you say?
Sure.
I could say I had that happen plenty of times, where I've sat there and just talked to them, just a regular conversation where they express, like, people have
overload.
Like, something. I'm like, I'm just a car salesman, bro. I don't think I should really be hearing this. But you just sit there and really listen to it, because you try to build that rapport and bond with this individual so you can feel comfortable. Because at the end of the day, you're still trying to sell that car, correct?
Yeah.
Well, they always say it's not the car business, it's the people business. So you have to know people, and that's what comes along with people. Some people want you to hear what they're going through. It's not just like making a purchase at a retail store where you're buying a shirt or pants, and it's you do the transaction and I'll see you later. But it's really a long drawn out experience where you get to know everybody, which is a unique to maybe other forms of sales.
Yeah, it's a long-term relationship.
Yeah.
All right. So we're getting to the end soon. So Oscar, so what's your plan? I know you said you had some plans for the future. What you plan to do?
My main plan is I really want to buy a Honda dealership. That's one thing I want to do. I know I am.
Wait, how old are you again?
I'm 24.
He's 24 years old, and his plan is to buy a dealership. That is incredible, man.
A Honda store.
Most 24-year-olds are still in college trying to figure out what the hell they're trying to eat. And you already have your mindset on
Top
buying.
ramen.
Yeah.
And when I know I am. It's just a matter of when. When I first stepped into the car business as a porter, washing cars, and I saw like these guys driving nice cars, wearing nice clothes, making good money, I knew I was going to be there. It's just a matter of when. Because that's something it just caught my attention right off the bat when they offered it to me, and I really want to make an impact in the car business, and I know I am.
That is incredible. As a fellow Latino, I'm proud of you, and I hope you fulfill that dream. And I know you're under the guidance of a great individual. Shout out to Patel.
Mikey, if you're watching this, You know you're gonna get shout out.
Yeah, shout out to Patel. I know he has you under his wing, and he's a great leader to follow. He's doing great things. He's changed your life, right?
Yeah.
You could say he's the main.
I say the car business is also like a team. You have to form your own team, people you trust, to take with you to a store to make it great. Like everybody, the whole downtown they split up. Everybody went to their own team. That's what it is. It's like you have to build your own team. I've known Ivan forever, and the people I'm with right now, that's the team I want to be with. When we do open up when we do buy our Honda dealership, it's really just it's like a family thing that you have to do in the car business if you want to go far.
Well, yeah, he's talking about the revolving door. Anyone who's worked at a dealership knows how many people go in and how many people filter through and go out. And there's certain attributes that certain individuals have that you just want to keep around you, whether it's because they're not prone to drama, whether it's because they just kind of go for the business and move to the deal all the time, and it's always going to be just whatever the job asks of them ultimately. So those are the people that you tend to gravitate towards, and at least for the business aspect, yeah, these guys will know who to bring along with them in the case of, hey, I might have my store one day. In the case of, debauchery and just, making relationships, it could be anybody. I mean, look at you. So, that's I think that's kind of what Oscar's touching on right now.
Yeah, the Honda store. Like I said, in order for me to do that, like how we told, like me and I were talking about earlier, the only way I'm doing is what I need to do. I'm always gonna put first what I'm gonna do. My career, what I do, my job. Well, not my career. I'm always gonna put that first to get to where I want to be. And I know it might sound crazy. Like a lot of people think, like, that's crazy, but that's just something that I fell in love with.
It's instilled in you.
Yeah, it's instilled in me. I know in the car business. I was reading a blog. This guy in the car business, he said it's a good business to get in and get out. As far as like that, and you make your money, you invest your money, and then get out with retirement. That's one thing you can also do. If you start from like a young age, you would save your money. If you do really good, you could potentially retire. No, at an early age, if you save your money, invest it, you could retire. You get in, get out.
Sure. That's a possibility. Yeah, it's a possibility for sure. Not to say that's what I did at all, but it's certainly a possibility.
But what I want to do is I want to stay in it. I know. Me and Ivan joke around about the whole retirement thing. I know I would love to. Me and Ivan would love to retire. We talk about it all the time. We used to just stare at each other and be like, retirement, because it's possible. But deep down inside, what I really want to do is that Honda store, the Honda and an Acura store too. I would love to do that too.
That is amazing. It's incredible. Well, is there anything else you guys want to touch on before we wrap this up? Or
just shout out to everybody that's watching this, my boys back home. Good talk. Good.
Just trying to go through everything and anything that we may have missed about. I'm just looking at it through the eyes of the viewer to see if anybody's considering on making that move, or whether or I think we pretty much covered everything.
All right. Well, I guess that's a wrap. Once again, you're watching Kicking It with Mel, where everyone has a story to tell. Thank you both for being here today.
Thanks for having us,
you guys being here. And a big shout out to Osaka.
Only us three, man. Only us three.